In the heated theater of American politics, where law, justice, and ambition often collide in spectacular fashion, one incident that continues to resonate as both a cautionary tale and a symbolic turning point is the dramatic clash between Judge Andrew Napolitano and Representative Jasmine Crockett, a clash that began when Napolitano, long known for his sharp legal mind, his libertarian interpretations of constitutional law, and his sometimes provocative commentaries that straddle the line between judicial insight and political theater, decided in a controversial courtroom setting to levy a fine against Crockett for what he termed contemptuous behavior, but which she and her supporters saw as an arbitrary, politically motivated attempt to silence a rising Democratic voice. Yet what makes this story unforgettable is not merely the issuance of the fine but the way Crockett, armed with her characteristic sharp wit, unapologetic boldness, and deep understanding of both legal nuance and political optics, turned the tables so quickly and so decisively that the very moment he signed the order became the moment he began to regret it. For Crockett, rather than shrinking under the weight of judicial authority, launched into a fiery rebuttal that dissected his reasoning, exposed inconsistencies in his legal logic, and reframed the narrative from one of discipline to one of defiance, casting herself not as a target of judicial sanction but as a defender of democratic values and a voice against what she painted as judicial overreach, and in doing so, she not only captured the attention of the courtroom but set off a chain reaction in the media landscape, as clips of her impassioned counterarguments went viral across social media platforms, drawing praise from progressives who saw in her a fearless fighter and forcing even some skeptics to acknowledge that Napolitano had underestimated her resolve. And as the story unfolded with reporters digging into both figures' backgrounds, the contrast became sharper. Napolitano, the former New Jersey Superior Court judge turned Fox News analyst, who had built a reputation as both a constitutional scholar and a provocateur, now looked increasingly like an establishment figure attempting to flex outdated authority, while Crockett, a freshman congresswoman from Texas known for her blunt language, fearless cross-examinations, and willingness to take on powerful opponents, came across as the insurgent outsider capable of not only defending herself but shifting the entire conversation. And when she took the stage at a subsequent press conference, surrounded by supporters, colleagues, and a throng of cameras, she delivered a blistering speech in which she reframed the fine not as a punishment but as proof of her effectiveness, saying in essence that if speaking truth to power was now considered contempt, then every activist, every civil rights leader, and every freedom fighter in history had been guilty as well. And this rhetorical move flipped the narrative on its head, leaving Napolitano not only isolated in his legal stance but embarrassed by the tidal wave of public opinion that painted him as heavy-handed, reactionary, and even vindictive. And as the days turned into weeks, the repercussions only grew larger, with legal scholars debating whether his sanction had any legitimate grounding, political commentators pointing to the clash as a symbol of generational and ideological shifts within the American system, and ordinary citizens sharing memes and hashtags that elevated Crockett's fiery defense into a cultural moment, so that what had begun as a simple fine became a full-blown national conversation about judicial authority, free speech, and the role of outspoken women of color in American politics. And while Napolitano tried to defend himself in op-eds and interviews, arguing that his decision had been rooted in legal principle rather than personal animus, the damage was already done, for every attempt to reframe the incident only seemed to remind the public of Crockett's mic drop moment in the courtroom, that moment when she turned to face him directly and said in words that would be quoted endlessly online that his robe did not shield him from accountability and that no gavel was louder than the truth, a line that became immortalized on t-shirts, protest signs, and viral TikToks. And what followed was not only his professional embarrassment but a broader shift in perception about the limits of judicial and media authority in an age where viral moments could rewrite reputations overnight. And so in this unfolding saga, the regret Napolitano felt was not simply about the backlash to his decision but about the realization that in attempting to discipline Jasmine Crockett he had elevated her profile to new heights, making her not just a congresswoman fighting for recognition but a national symbol of resistance, resilience, and rhetorical brilliance, a figure whose star only rose higher each time he tried to push back. And so the irony of the event is that the fine, meant to diminish her, became the very instrument of her empowerment, ensuring that his name would be remembered in political lore not for his decades of legal commentary or his libertarian constitutional arguments but for the day he tried to silence Jasmine Crockett and instead handed her the biggest platform of her career. And as historians, journalists, and political junkies continue to revisit the story, it serves as both entertainment and instruction, reminding everyone that power in the modern age is not just about titles and robes and gavels, but about narratives, perception, and the ability to seize the moment when the spotlight is unexpectedly yours. And in that sense, Jasmine Crockett's triumph and Judge Napolitano's regret are inseparable parts of a cautionary tale about authority, defiance, and the unpredictable dynamics of 21st-century American politics.